Hi everybody, I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change and it's Let's Talk. So, Let's Talk is about feeling like giving up, don't. Okay, now, a lot of people go through tough times. In fact, we all go through tough times at some time in our life. And, it might be a series of events that builds up. And sometimes the first reaction is, I just can't do this anymore. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go out the door and I'm just going to do something different. Okay. Now this might be about your education, about your job, your career, your business. It might be to do with relationships. Perhaps your partner, your children, your parents, generally speaking, it'll be about some form of roles and responsibilities. Okay, now, I'm going to be perfectly upfront with you, and I've had those times, especially when, the children were little and, I was finding it really, really tough. And, basically it was just because it became difficult and, I felt as if there were a lot of demands being made on me that I was struggling to manage. And yes, I did feel like running out the door and just leaving everybody to it. And, while I was thinking about doing the running out of the door, exercise, I would start saying, okay, so if I go now, where am I going to go? And I would think of all of these different places I could go. And then I think, but they'd be able to find me there. So is that the solution? That yes, I run away, but they find me. And then I would start to think about where I could go where I couldn't be found. And in actual fact, when I started thinking about it in those terms, that would make me even more upset, which would then make me start to think about, well, what is it about my life the loves in my life, my husband, my children, my pets, other members of my family. And then, that would progress on to, well, if I run away, because that's basically what you're doing, you're running away from the problem, how is that really going to benefit them and benefit me? So what was going on was my mind was sort of, you could say that my mind was convincing me to stay, but also it was me starting to be realistic about my thoughts and feelings, what I'd got in my life, what I would lose if I didn't have them in my life. And, it sort of set me on a realistic train of thought. Okay. And then that train of thought would take me on to, well, if I did run away and I wasn't there in their lives, is that fair on them? Is it fair on me? When there's a lot at stake, isn't there? Here, what I'm talking about. It's a lifelong love with my husband. It's a lifelong love with my children. And do I really want to lose that? Because basically that's what I would be doing. I would be losing the love that I would get from my husband and my children. And then that would lead me onto the train of thought, well, you know what? Perhaps I am better staying and managing it, finding a way of managing it. And in actual fact, once I had acknowledged those different things, those different feelings and my reasoning, it actually became a lot clearer to me that, I could manage it. And I wanted to manage it, and also I had to manage it if I wanted these people in my life. Okay. And let's face it, probably if I'd run out the door back then, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about this now. And I certainly wouldn't still have these wonderful people in my life, which is even more important. So you can see from, you know, me just sitting here and talking to you now that there's a lot of other people besides me who have had those thoughts about just running for it. And there are going to be a lot of other people with those thoughts. So if you've got those thoughts at the moment, you're not alone. It is a common thought process. Okay, so if you are having these thoughts and feelings, then it's very, very important to go back to basics. Okay, it is about just stopping. All right, it's about stopping and taking a breather. All right, so whether it is about going outside into the fresh air, you know, perhaps you're at work and, you know, finding a little corner or a little office somewhere, even if you've got to go to the toilets, you know, it's about taking a break, just stopping a little bit. You know, perhaps if you're at home with your children, or you with other people who are highly dependent on you and they can't be left, is find somebody who can just come in for a little bit and, you know, sit and do half an hour, an hour's little bit of support for you, so that you can go out and you can get some fresh air and you can just start to clear your head and start thinking about it. Okay, so the first important thing is to stop. Okay, when you are able to stop, remember to take a breather. All right, to breathe properly, because the breathing, all right, will help you think a lot more clearly. Okay, because you're going to be using your lungs properly, your oxygen, you're going to get better oxygen levels that are going into your blood supply, that are going to feed your vital organs, that are going to clear your head, and so that you can start to just work things out a little bit more easily for yourself, so that you can think about the situation realistically and logically and work out what it is that you really, really want. Okay, do you want to leave all of this behind, or is this just a little period of time that is very, very difficult, and with the right support, the right frame of mind, that you can actually work through this? Okay. So then this leads me on to look at your options. Okay, what are your options? Okay, what is available to you to help you? Okay, so, you know, this is very much going back to, you know, working out who is your support network, who it is that you love, why you love them, why they are important in your life, why is it important to keep them in your life, why is it important to, you know, develop on what you've got, what are the benefits of, you know, being together, all together in your life, and also to think about what are the benefits if you do run off and leave it all behind, you know, because, you know, this is a very, very important thing to work out. If you do walk out the door, what are you leaving behind? Okay, because actually that might give you the answer. Okay, and then, you know, how are you going to do it? How are you going to manage this? How are you going to work out all of these issues? How are you going to make your roles and responsibilities easier for yourself? Because sometimes, you know, in actual fact, when we get very anxious, when we get very stressed and tense, our mind can go into complication mode and make things very, very complicated, when actually we need to just step back off a little bit, look at it from a different viewpoint so we can see things more clearly. Okay, and this is why you need to stop, why you need to take a breather, so that you can look at your options a lot more easily. Okay, and then the last part is, you know, plan of action. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Okay, so that you can work out the best solution to solve the issues of all of this turmoil that you are feeding yourself, all right, and that's sort of getting you in a tizzy, so to speak, and and that being in a tizzy is stopping you from thinking clearly. And then, of course, once you've got your plan of action, it is about putting it into practice, okay? And once you've thought through all of these different things, perhaps, for a very, very small minority, perhaps that is the only way out, okay? But still, there is support there somewhere. Okay, whether it is a relative, a friend, a neighbour, a work colleague, a professional organisation, that is going to be support to help you understand all these thoughts and these feelings that you are experiencing. Okay, so very, very important. Stop, take a breather, be realistic about it. Think about it. Think about, the importance of all of this in your life. Okay, because if you walk out the door, it's going to be a lot harder to come back in. All right? And managing it is going to be a lot easier process. Or I shouldn't say it's going to be easy, because it isn't easy to work out all of these difficult thoughts and processes, because relationships get complicated and, things can get very, very confusing. All right. But it's working out that you're doing it for the right reason. Okay. That's very, very important. And it isn't just about the right reason for you. It's about the right reason for everybody else as well. You hear awful, awful stories on the news about tragic family circumstances and, families that have, I hate to say this, where perhaps a member of the family has murdered somebody else because of all the difficult interactions between family relationships. And, they have felt that there was no way out. They haven't been able to think clearly. They haven't been able to find the right support network. And that is tragic, absolutely tragic, not for everybody involved. So, think clearly, find your support network, and what my main point is, acknowledge your feelings, so to yourself. Okay, so if you're feeling shit, then say to yourself that you're feeling shit, and say to yourself why you're feeling shit. All right, so that it is clear to yourself exactly what you are going through. Okay, now this has suddenly occurred to me, this has turned out into a very heavy feeling let's talk this afternoon, but if you need extra support, then send me a private message. Send me a message from my website, www.kathlloyd.co.uk. Find the right person to help you manage all of these thoughts and feelings, because you're not alone, all right? There are a lot of people out there. You might not recognise them at the moment or notice them, but there are a lot of people out there who will give you the support if you just take the first move and reach out to them. Okay, I know that it can feel tremendously hard to reach out, and I can say that sincerely because I have felt it myself. Okay, but once you make that commitment to reach out your hand and ask for help, it will be there for you. Okay, so thank you for joining me this afternoon, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Have a very, very good day. Remember to breathe properly, okay, to help you think clearly so that you can work out your options and your plan of action. And have a lovely day. Bye bye now.